Hello there, Mark from Original Cool here, the 50s rock and roll trio that I've got with two of my sons, Anthony and Jay. We were going to start doing a few videos of what we're doing every now and again, if we can, and I thought I'd try to kick it off and do a video about my guitar pedals and the sounds that I get for our band for my guitar. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try to turn this round and then we'll get on with it. There we go. So there's all my bits and pieces and my pedals. There's Rio just keeping an eye on me. I don't know, he's going to get in the way now. Right, so here we go. I come out of my guitar and I used to use a lot of the Shure wireless stuff, but a friend of mine, Rick McKay, put me onto these Legato wireless system. He really highly recommended them, uses them in his theatre show. A lot of the people in the show use these things. They're about 50, 60 quid, and I think they're fantastic. There's no dropout, there's no latency in the signal, really clear. So that's what we're using now. Anthony uses that as well. So there we go, into that, into my Boss tuner. No surprise with that. So we come out of the tuner, and the first pedal that I want my guitar signal to hit is going to be a compressor, and that's going to just establish the tone and and sort a few things out. With compression, I don't want a highly compressed tone. I don't want a country tone, and I want to be able to play lightly if I want to. And the idea of a compressor is going to be that it brings all the lower notes up and the higher notes down, and it evens everything out in a volume way. But if I want to dig in a little bit, I want that to be able to come out in my playing. So on this particular pedal, if I was to have that button round about there, then light notes and heavy notes would be about the same volume. So what I want to do, I want to roll that off so it gives me a little bit of light and shade in my playing. And if I play lightly, it will come across as that. This is a boutique pedal by Jam Pedals that I've bought recently. Really nice. And what I like about it, it's just two buttons, two dials. On the Boss, you can see that's where all my settings are on the Boss. And this is the one controlling the amount of compression sustain that you've got. I'd have it around about there for my Gretsch, and if I was going to use a Telecaster, I'd roll that off to round about there, hence the little blue dot. So that's where I would have that. So that is going to be the first thing my guitar hits. And my sound is really made up of three pedals that are always on. A guy said the other day about my pedals, he said there's a lot of pedals for a 50s sound that should be quite basic, and he is right, but you know, I'm a guitarist and I like my toys. So I'm going to go through just the always on pedals. So it's going to come out of my compressor, it's going to go into this Gig Rig Quartermaster 8. The reason I want this is because this will just send the guitar signal all the way through, and it will only branch off to a pedal if I want it to. And what that does, it just tries to keep the guitar signal pure rather than going in here and in this and in that and all these cables. It's just straight into this and only going where I want it to go. So out the compressor into the Quartermaster, and it comes all the way along. And the second pedal my signal hits is this delay. Again, a Boss delay. And that's my settings. And what I have on this is not quite a real tight 50 slapback. It's a little bit looser than that. So I've got about 3 or 4 repeats on it. And it just pads things out a little bit. So it's not really proper slapback. It just fattens things up a little bit. The third pedal that's always on is a reverb. Now, on my amps, most of us guitarists, we've grown up with Fender spring reverbs inside the amp, the tanks and all that. And my amp's got a beautiful spring reverb, but the dial for it is around the back of the amp. And every now and again, if we do an instrumental, if Jay's going to do Let There Be Drums or Wipeout, or if we do Pipeline, what I want to do, I just want to add a little bit of reverb level just to make it a bit more surfy. Now this has got a spring reverb on it, but I'm not really into the digital spring reverb sound. It's a bit electronic for me, so I have it on a Hall setting, and I'll roll it off when we finish the instrumentals, if I remember. The other thing with this is that when we go out to Spain, if we fly out to Spain or if we play out there, you can't really use guitar amps in the places that we play. So this gives me just a constant signal, a constant sound all the time. So I haven't got to get used to different reverb sounds. So that's what I like about this. So that's it. That and that, always on, 95% of my playing tone. So when we do a lead break, I'm going to flip this switch. The signal is going to now kick in this delay pedal, and it's going to run alongside. So I'm stacking these two up, and you can see that the levels on there, just the levels the same, but the feedback and the time are slightly longer. So what this has given me is a sort of a du-du-du-du, and this is going to give me, with that together, du-du-du-du-du-du. So it's a little bit longer. It's more like a dotted eighth delay, and it just pads things out a little bit. This is linked to this for my lead breaks, a Boss graphic, and you can see that I'm not really using it as a graphic. I'm just using it for a little bit of a boost. Okay, so that will be on for my lead breaks, along with that, along with this, along with this. This pedal here will sometimes take the place of that, a Catlin Bred booster. I might put that on in a minute. All right, now, so that's kind of it. That one, these two, that for the lead breaks. That is 98% of the show. And the reason I use Boss is because they're great pedals. You know, I mean, I've had this one here for about 25 years, that for about 30 years. They are just bulletproof, and, you know, they're the industry standards. But I do like the boutique ones every now and again. And the nice thing with this is that if one goes down, or if we fly out to Spain and the luggage goes missing or something like that, or something gets nicked, you can walk into any music shop anywhere in the world and get your sound back the very next day. That's why I like these. And what I like with these pedals is these don't colour the sound. So if I get used to this, I can stick this one on there and it won't change the tone of my guitar. That's why I like those. Right, let's get on with these pedals then. So I've got a Crybaby wah pedal. Long time ago, I was in an Elvis band, the theatre one, for a little while, and I needed this for things like Poke Salad Annie. It's on the board. I hardly ever use it. If we get to an end of a chunky old rocker, and Jay's going mad on the drums and Angie's doing all the bass, I might flip this on, kick that in, and just give a little bit of flourish at the very end notes of a song as we finish that. That's controlled off of here, and when I turn it off, the signal isn't going up into that anymore. These two pedals are linked together. So this is a drop D, and what this is, it takes if you're playing in an E shape and you press this on, it will bring it down in semitones. So there's 3 songs that we do at the moment where I want to play in an E shape or an A shape, but I want to sing the song one whole step down. Or I might want to play in an E shape to get a bit of a guitar riff going on, but I want to sing it in D. So Anthony will be playing in D, I'm singing in D, but this will be on that little button there, so it brings it down one whole step. And what I find is when I do bring this down, to my ears, it loses just a fraction of high end. So this will be kicked in at the same time, and you can see it's all level. Then it nips the high end up just a little bit to replace what I think this is taken out of it. So these 2 pedals are there purely for 3 songs in an evening. We might do 1 or 2 of those, possibly, linked off of this toggle here. So again, when I don't want them on, turn that off, and the signal is now bypassing these two pedals. A little TC Electronic tremolo. Tremolo, it's quite a 50s sort of sound, but to me it sounds great when other people use it, but it doesn't sound very good when I use it. This pedal is purely there for the opening chord of All I Have to Do Is Dream by the Everly Brothers. I strum that chord, Jay counts us in, we start the song, I'll turn it off. So you know, is there any point in it being there? But what these pedals do, they just give a tiny little bit of texture to a certain couple of songs. But everything else that I'm doing on my guitar, the different tones, are all made up of me flipping between the neck pickup and the bridge pickup. I've got a big gap here, so I haven't really got anything to go into it. The other two pedals that might go on there sometimes, Tube Screamer and a Wampler Fuzz. I'm not into fuzzes and distortions and overdrives. It sounds great when other people do it. I can't do it justice, so I don't really get involved in that. But you know, if we want to do Mustang Sally one night, and I might stick this in just to give it a bit of grit. But it's not something, I'm not that good at it, so I tend to leave those alone. This is an interesting little pedal. So by Tech 21, and what this one does, it simulates a Fender amp or various Fender amps over the years, and this button here will, oops, probably don't work now. This button here will give you various amp types. And what I bought this for, the only time I use this pedal is if we go out to Spain and I'm going to use my Gretsch 6120. And what this does, it just gives me the controls of an amp, because in Spain we can't use amps. It's got to go straight through a PA, which I can bung a Telecaster in and it will sound all right, but my Gretsch is a little bit muddy, so I can just use the dials there. And this little button, if you press that button, it will then give another simulation of a guitar speaker rather than a PA speaker. So it just gives you that little bit of an edge to cut through the rest of the band. I only use that if we're in Spain and I've got my 6120, but most of the time out there I'm going to be on a Telecaster or my Gretsch Tennessee Rose. So that's it. That's my pedal setup, and you know, I ought to cut them down, but you know, I like buying the odd pedal here and there. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Like I say, we're going to try to do a few videos. We're going out to Spain soon, so we're going to try to do a video diary of that if we can, or get one of the boys to do it, because they're a bit better at this tech stuff than me. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take it easy, and we might see you at a gig sometime. Cheers.